Hello, my name is Charles, and in today's video, we're going to explore what it means to control your attention or to focus, and should you even try to control your attention. Um, the reason I have this idea is because, I'd seen a YouTube video talking about controlling your attention, and then I just started thinking, I was like, let's suppose you're in class, for example, and you're looking at the teacher. And I mean, you're looking at the teacher and they're teaching, some kind of math subject, maybe calculus. Does squinting your eyes and really efforting and trying super hard, straining a lot to pay attention, help you pay attention? No, it probably makes your vision of the board worse. Probably is worse. Probably just makes you feel uncomfortable and look stupid in class, or at least feel like you look stupid in class. So, there's that. But I don't think necessarily that's what people mean when they're like focus. So I started thinking, I was like, well, what do people mean when they're talking about focusing, controlling your attention? And so I was like, okay, well, maybe, controlling your attention is if you imagine, let's say, consciousness or the soul is the thing that observes all the thoughts and perceptions and ideas in our head and what we're thinking about, that we have to control, we're the witness and we're, control as the soul controlling each thought. That just sounds exhausting. If you had to control, I don't even think it's possible. I mean, if you had to fight your mind and control every single thought that were to pop up into your mind, that sounds like an infinitely tall task. That sounds really, really straining. Doesn't sound fun. Sounds miserable. Wouldn't want to do that. And that's a lot of effort. I don't even know if we can do that. And then, so it's okay, well, and there's also the thought that you're controlling that thought, just another thought. In let's say, the space of your mind is your soul or your consciousness or whatever, then is the thought that you're controlling a thought, when people have, internal battles and they're I'm telling this thought not to appear, I don't want the cookie, I don't want the cookie. Is that just another thought that you're trying to push up, that you don't want the cookie? It sounds like a lot, sounds very laborious, very exhausting. So I don't know if we should do that. And then I was I don't know if that's what people mean when they're focus your attention. I don't know if that's what, the teacher really means when she tells me to focus in class. And so then after I was okay, well, what does focus mean? What does it truly mean to focus then? And that's where I was or should we even try to control our focus? And then I started thinking, I was okay, well, would the natural flow of attention, whatever my, mind is, I guess, captivated by, or heart is captivated by, and garners my attention, should I just allow it to choose whatever it wants to focus on, do that for however long, and then, do something else? Should I just surrender my attention? I was that's probably a really peaceful way to live, just surrender to life. But I didn't know if that was the best way. And then I think when people say focus, or your teacher slams your desk and is focus up, I think they mean if you imagine the spotlight of your attention, or just what you are aware of in an instantaneous moment. So in this moment, are you aware of my eyes? Are you aware of my nose? What I'm saying? The audio input. I think you can only be aware of one thing at a time, or so many things, and they just want whatever you are aware of to be looking at them. And so I was that's probably what they mean. And I think that is an important thing to do. So I do kind of agree. I think I was I was even typing this out in my notes, just brainstorming this. Like I was like, I think it is good to be able to put your spotlight of attention on a particular thing, like whatever you are aware of in an individual moment, like put that awareness on what you want to do, or a noble intention, or loving. I was like, I think that's a good thing to do. And then I think too, like a common thing with humans too when it comes to attention is, and this is a little tangential, but I think when we say pay attention, like somehow humans associate where they place their eyes with where their attention, like wherever they're looking is also where their attention is. Because when people give eye contact, or like, why are you looking at me? Like they assume they're, the person inside, so to speak, is like paying attention to them in that moment. And so, yeah, I think it is probably good to be able to control your attention to some extent. I know this seems super rambly and kind of weird, but it is an interesting thing. It's like, should we even control our attention? It's good to be able to put the spotlight of attention on what you want, or like a goal, or, devoting to someone. But yeah, I think that's good. I think if you try, though, to control the flow of like thoughts throughout a day, like if when people say control your attention, they were referring to like controlling, the flow of thoughts throughout a day. Yeah, it's just, I don't think you can fight your mind. I don't even think that's possible. Like if you try to control all the chatter in your school, like every individual thought, it's like ducks in an order that you go to align a certain way. If you're thinking one kind of way, it's like like I think it's probably exhausting. I mean, it does not sound like a fun process. And so for anyone watching, I ask you as kind of a favor, do me a favor and try like a surrender experiment. See if you just surrender your attention to life. I mean, I'm Christian, so I'd say God, but just like surrender your attention to life, and don't try to purposely pay attention to one thing over the other. Just kind of let it, flow, and see what happens. See if you just do well. Because I'm curious I'm curious how you do. I'm just curious. It's a little selfish, I guess, but I'm just curious. And so, yeah, I hope this was interesting for some people. This was kind of my exploration, is like, should we control our attention, or what do we even mean when we're talking about like pay attention or control your attention? Because I think people can probably mean different things, and yeah. I think probably the most ubiquitous definition, and I think the one we should all probably stick with, is just where your current awareness is at a given moment. So like, what are you currently aware of? That's your attention. That's where your attention is. Like whatever you are just currently aware of. And so, yeah, I hope this video was interesting. This was just a little late night thinking, thinkies. So, hope you guys enjoyed. Much love to you all. God bless. And if you have any of your own late night thinkings, or just, internal ramblings that you want to put online for the amusement and edification of others, put that in the comment section below. And I would love to hear it. God bless and good night, brothers.